Hello, hello. This is Michele Zaragoza, team leader, Central Valley, and Modesto, Stockton, Lodi, Tracy, Manteca. And we are here to be just chatting it up about the listings right now in this market that we're facing. A few of the ALCs are here and more are jumping on. So I'm encouraging everybody to, show your face, right? Because we're all in this together. We're all masterminding together. It's not just them telling or asking
Bring me a
questions.
charger.
Whoop. There we go. We want to make sure we mute each other too. So let me go ahead and just do that. That was funny. That was fun though. Yeah. So hang on. So there's got to be a way to mute when you first come on, but we'll just do it this way. If you can, you guys mute yourself. If you have others in the office, if not, go ahead and unmute yourself so you can chat it up. There we go. Banna, I just muted you, baby doll. So when you're ready to chat, unmute yourself. Okay. So, what's going on out there in the listing world for all of you guys? What obstacles are you facing? What's happening with the sellers? Anybody want to start?
Yeah, I'm okay. My meeting started. I'll call you back in a little bit, okay?
I got her. Tammy. Okay, go ahead, Desiree.
So, I don't know about everyone else, but I think I'd say over the last 2 weeks, I think people are realizing what the market is doing, how it's shifting or correcting or whatever terminology you want to use. And I have found that they are more open to listening to you and realizing that, what they have to do to get their house, on the market, or, what could happen if they overlist it, right? So I see a lot more people are saying, okay, no, I agree. I know, because whether it's they're listening to the news or they're listening to their neighbors or they're just downright paying attention, I find that it's been a little bit easier. It's not as much of a struggle as it was this summer.
Oh, okay. That's really encouraging. So I appreciate that. I actually got on the phone this morning with one of one of the agents here who is having a really hard time with one of their sellers who wants to actually list it for over $100,000 above asking, right? And above the sales price, the average sales price in that area. How are you guys overcoming people like that, if you will, who's not being understanding what's going on with the market? Obviously, they don't know what the heck's going on.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And Lisa, it looked like you were going to chime in.
Well, I was actually, that agent was talking to me about it too. And I've been thinking about it a little bit over and over. And really what it comes down to is we are the educators and we can educate and educate. And then it comes down to, well, how do I want to look at it? There's one way to look at it is, okay, at least my name will be out there and I'm marketing it and I'm getting hopefully some phone calls in on it, even though I know that it's overpriced. And I know I'm going to have to suck up my marketing dollars to market that property just like I would market any property that was priced right. And then on the flip side, I'm thinking about, well, where's my value proposition? I'm willing to just test the market with them and then have my name sitting out there where people are saying, wow, she can't get a house sold. So I'm not sure there's a right answer to it other than to do our best job in educating the seller and letting them know what the consequences are about not listening to what we're telling them they should do.
That's interesting because I kind of went off your second scenario. I wouldn't want somebody seeing your sign out there just sitting there, thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on with Lisa, or what's going on with, Joe, the house isn't listing, right? And, is it the house? Is somebody saying something's wrong with the house? So there's a lot of different ways to be looking at it.
Yeah, I don't know that there's one right answer in this market right now. 6 months from now, we'll know what the right answer was, but I'm not sure right now.
Yeah. So how are you, anybody can chime in or raise your hand or what have you, right? So on a listing presentation, when you're meeting with the potential seller, um, how are you presenting the sales price? How are you moving forward? And sorry, somebody just came to the glass door. But how are you presenting the sales price as in, hey, 2 weeks from now, it's going to be lower? How are you telling them what the market's gonna, nobody has a crystal ball, but it's just you can only show what's been happening in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so everybody's got to mute yourself if you're not going to talk, because we're getting.
Well, Michelle, I think it's, you show them the comps. I mean, there's comps around most properties that are sitting. You're gonna see a price reduction. And so that's what you need to show them. You need to show them what's happening around them.
Got it.
I
Got it.
have something to chime in. So
Yeah.
what I'm really looking at is the history of a lot of the active comps and a lot of the pending comps, because if you look at the history, you're going to see how many price reductions they have had. And then you can cross compare to at that time that they were higher, what were the pending ones that actually sold. So you're going to see the trend of they're chasing the market. So that's kind of how I show them. Although I'm still getting pushback from some sellers and they just want to test the market. And I kind of need a little advice as to, how strong are you? Because I'm very, I'm huge on being honest and upfront. And I tell them I'm being honest with you. I'm being upfront with you. I'm trying to help you get the most for your money while you can. And I'm still getting pushback, and I may have scared a couple people to be honest, because I'm like, hey, this is the reality of it. And I have two people who, they're just like, well, I don't know if I want to sell it if I get that much. So we have to be prepared for that too. But how are some of you overcoming feeling like you're being too strong or too forward? Do you have to tiptoe a little bit? Because I'm not really good at that.
Well, I think I have, in response to Michelle's question, and both of you touched on it, is we have to show them what the actives are and we have to show them what the pendings are. But I think right now we need to really partner with our loan officers and have them give us the information is this is what your house is worth now at 7% interest rate. And this is what these houses that are pending right now, they're probably at a 6%. Maybe they're at, a high 5%, depending on what they had. This is the difference in the mortgage payment. I have a listing right now in Tracy that I can't sell, and he understands it, but he's going to go underwater if we reduce anymore. And it really was, at first he was adamant he wouldn't reduce his price until I was able to get him to put himself back in his buying shoes and realize that $2,300 mortgage payment he has now, that same him as a buyer right now can't afford $4,000. So that helped me get the price reduction that I did get. And then to Minerva's question, I think that it's really important right now that we understand who we're speaking to. So if you understand the disc profile, which is pretty simple, then you can understand how you can approach that particular client. Some people are totally numbers driven and they'll love it if you bring them something from their mortgage, from your mortgage lender showing how the rates have affected things. Other ones, it's just a matter of you just have to deal with the person the way they are. But I think we all, even though we are going into winter, and I don't just mean the season winter, I mean real estate winter, we all just have to remember our value. That person who's $100,000 over is never going to come to reality unless they have a gut check somewhere. But if you have someone who's maybe 25,000 over, maybe 40,000 over, and you tell them, okay, we're going to try it your way, but in a few weeks, then we're going to do it my way, and they're willing to do that, at least you have someone at that point that you can work with. Spend your time on the people who are serious rather than the ones who are still dreamers.
Right. I think that's really important to not get caught up in the people who are not going to go down, because then that sucks your energy too. So.
And you could be focused on getting some other listings of people who are a little more realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what do they say, Lisa? It's okay to fire the customer, right? It is okay because you need to make sure you're working with people who are willing and able.
Right.
Good answer. Okay, what else is going on out there, you guys? How are you getting listings right now?
I took a listing last night, and one of the things that really helped was I took the time to call agents that had pending listings and really talk about the activity that they had, and what it took. And, a good agent is going to share with you, kind of where they're at, and so take the time to have conversations, because if for some reason it's been pending for quite some time, then that could very well come back on the market and they're probably going to reduce it. And then that's going to be our competition. So we have to have that conversation with the seller and set the expectation of, hey, what we're up against, this is what we're looking at right now. But although we're going to have a conversation in 2 weeks, if we're not getting activity in 2 weeks, we're overpriced. We have showings and no pen to paper in 2 weeks, we're overpriced. And, we have to constantly be keeping them in the know of that and setting those expectations up front of what other agents are experiencing in the listings. So.
And I have a question to put out there to the agents that are on this call. Who is pending and how did you get your property pending? I mean, I just want to know if anyone had a challenge and how you managed. Was it reducing your price? Was it offering money to buy down a loan rate? Anybody? I just like to know what people have done.
It's like the art of negotiation.
Yeah, I talked to my sellers last night about those options and they were already on board of the buy downs and offering those versus lowering sale price to actually get with your lenders and know what the 2-1s, the 3-2-1s, what all of them are and how it can benefit both sides. You got to educate, both the buyers and the sellers.
But my question was someone who's pending now. How did you get it to that point?
I think it's important to listen. If you have a listing that's on the market that's been on there for a while, I think it's important to listen to the agents that are coming through and showing your property and making sure that you get feedback from people that are walking through. Because if you start getting consistencies with like, oh, the landscaping needs to be worked or the back door it needs to be replaced, I think addressing those issues will make it more attractive. I had that happen with my Stockton listing. And, it took 91 days, but we got it pending just by listening to every buyer who went through the property and giving feedback and making sure to take account and take note and presenting that to my seller and letting him know this is what's happening. And if we don't address it, we're gonna expire. And so I think it's just, making sure that we're listening to every single person that's going through, whether it's something that you believe or not believe, whether you think that that's an issue or not. It's just making sure that everybody's heard.
Okay, that's a great idea. Yeah, I do get feedback from the agents too. And I have, at least my seller right now is pretty cooperative. And he did take the time to make some corrections. So plus we just reduced the price by 15,000 yesterday. So I'm hoping that we can move forward and get it sold.
I would just like to add that what I'm finding is that it's not one thing anymore. It's both product and pricing. Before you could maybe fix the product and not have to, but it's literally buyers know what's going on. And so they have the upper hand in regards to you see the things that are going pending. They're looking for those values. They're looking for those deals. And, you really, and that it's just trying to get these sellers on board in regards to really pricing it, competitively and having a really good product, clean product to get the best pricing in this market.
And how many of you are doing pre-inspections before you go on the market? And are you finding that helpful?
I encourage all of my sellers to do that because it takes an objection off the table that a buyer could use when they get cold feet because all of their friends are telling them they're paying too much. So I do have sellers though, because they're already having to take less than what they had hoped that they were going to take. They do push back, and you just have to go over all of the pros for doing the pre-inspections.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I see it in the chat. There's a few people saying the same thing, that they do it. So that's something, yeah, I think it's interesting that
One
we should.
property that actually it closed escrow today, hallelujah, because that
Yay.
was a huge learning experience for me. But the seller, he had a price that I knew he couldn't get, but I will say he was a little bit more educated than I when we started this process. He said, my loan is assumable. Can you find me a buyer that will assume my loan? So instead of getting a 6 whatever percent rate, this buyer got 2.7, I think, percent.
Wow.
It was a VA loan. The lender we had to deal with didn't know it was happening, kind of like back in 2008 when the banks didn't know what to do with all the foreclosures and the short sales. I think we're going to start seeing assumable loans. And I will not even confess to be an expert at this point, although I learned a lot over these last 50 days. But I would say educate yourselves on that, because FHA and VA loans can be assumed, and those are low interest rates. So that's something that you can do to entice your buyer. There's a lot of special situations or circumstances that go into it, but this ends up being a win for the buyer and the seller. And people are probably gonna be shocked at the price it closed at, but it's because they were able to get a 2.7% interest rate, and they were mortgage rate sensitive. They were monthly payment sensitive, not necessarily purchase price sensitive.
That's a really good point, Lisa. I wonder, like, in regards to educating, because, loans years ago were assumable, and I know that some of them aren't, but I'm wondering if, that's a really good point, and trying to educate ourselves on that. Because that's going to be.
Conventionals are not assumable. Government-owned FHA, VA are.
Yeah, and it's like the hard money, because that's exactly how I bought my first house. Is I assumed one on 12th Street over there in Tracy, but it was beneficial, if you can believe that. And it was, yeah, it was crazy. But I mean, I did it, but it's out there. It was out there. I don't know how many are out there now. I'm attempting to get Joe or Marissa on this Zoom right now, so maybe they could speak on it. What else is going on out there, you guys?
Okay, I'll chime in. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot. But someone brought to my attention that there's a lot of 5/1 arms that were put into effect 5 years ago. They're going to be coming due. Those people may not be able to refinance. So that's a good segment of the population to go after. Also, there are going to be some people who purchased in the last year or two that are going to need to sell, and they're not going to be able to because now they're falling into a short sale situation. So start educating yourself on how to find those people. There's a lot of ways to do it. Work with your escrow company. They can pull lists for you. But I do think that in maybe 6 months from now, we're going to start seeing short sales and foreclosures, not like we did before, but there will be some to go after. Those are your motivated sellers.
That was a great idea, and I appreciate that you sharing that. Anybody else is doing any other different lead generating for listings right now? Ashley just said, I want to take some short sell classes to buff up on it again. I remember last year, you guys, maps. Yeah, Desiree, that's so funny you pulled that out. Why don't you chat up on that one, or
I
tell them
just
about that?
came across this, and this is from like 07, 08, and 09. I have like different, loss mitigation people. There's just some, when I opened this up, it was like a time capsule. I was like, I need to start like checking it again and kind of just refreshing on how to process a short sale and what we need, what the sellers are going to need to provide, all those different things. So it's a good point, Lisa, that you brought up, because we do need to start refreshing ourselves with that for sure.
Wasn't there a class that we took with maps? It was like a group class that we did. Was that last year?
The pandemic. For sure.
What was that?
Maps had one at the beginning of the pandemic for short sales.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
Janet, weren't you on that class? Anderson?
Your short sale class?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay. Let me see if we can get it again, and yeah, let me see. I'll put some emails together and I'll send it
I
out and
think there
find
was
out.
one called, it was a short sale class from an agent, I want to say in Chicago. Heather Keller, does that sound right? She did one on short sales that I watched.
Awesome.
The class you're
Anna,
talking about,
The LAR has done a few short sale classes and they're usually free. I can find out when the next one's going to be because I know they like to repeat classes so many times per year.
Bailey, that would be great. And if you could find out who the instructor is, and let's see if we can just get him for KW as well.
Hey, Lee,
The instructor's usually Marty Hackworth that
Okay.
teaches that.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. And then Banna, you said Christina Griffin?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the class that Lisa was mentioning in the right when the pandemic started. I remember that. I was on those, was on a few of them, I didn't do it all the way through, but yes.
I was on
Can you
that.
give me that contact information or
You know what, Michelle,
something?
reach out to Chris Thompson. She's the one who sent the email out, or I'll forward this to you. Maybe I'll have all the
Okay.
information you need. I just
All
found
right,
it.
perfect. Thank you. I can't remember all this stuff. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot. And we'll get it going. And obviously we want to make it just with us so we could just talk it up. I'm waiting for a couple of lenders to jump on. So if you see anybody jump on, let me know. And so we could just ask them about the different types of loans and so forth. How else are you getting listings? What else are you doing? Open houses? Who's doing open houses? Okay, so how many open houses are you doing a month right now? Some people I see are doing 2 a day.
4 a month.
4 a month, yeah.
4 to 6 a month.
6 a month, yeah. You have to right now. You have to right now. You've got to
Doubling
get
down.
back. Go ahead.
Doubling down and
Yes.
cramming, do 2 open houses. What's stopping you from doing 2 hours here and 2 hours down the street?
Totally agree.
And
I love
finding the right listings to hold open.
I love it. You've got to double down. You are 100% right. You have to make sure you're going back to those basics too, right? And so Taylor just mentioned or just put in the chat, how's the activity been? Hang on, Taylor. There's somebody who I just talked to, and if you're on the call, you were just about to close up the open house and you actually got the buyer right when you were just about to close up. The only buyer that walked through the open house. And then they're the ones who's buying. And it was at the close of the day. So it just takes one person. Yep, one person makes it worth it. Yeah. Joe said he can hop on at 11:45, so we'll see what happens. So, okay, how else are you getting open houses? Somebody's texting right now, open houses. So we need to make sure. Are you guys reading those emails that come out on Wednesdays? Okay. Is there another way we should be communicating with you all about open houses?
Make them earlier in the week. Wednesday's
Yes.
almost too late.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So then you guys would have to make sure you get it over to the MCC to make sure we get it out.
Yeah,
That
I
Someone to
agree.
host it.
Yeah, it
Okay.
would be nice if we knew what open houses were needing to be done by like Tuesday, because at the latest,
Mhm.
I would
Okay.
say, I mean, right now houses are sitting on the market. So why can't we, have a list earlier in the week?
Totally agree.
Okay. Who is there an MCC on right now? No. Okay.
Not an MCC on, but I'm part of those emails, and the email that goes out requesting that is usually sent out on Tuesday. So either we can send it out maybe Monday or the Friday before, but then it's also up to the people that are receiving it, meaning either the VA, the listing agent, or whomever is receiving it, to send the information in as to what listings are available for the open house that week.
Right. We could commit, thank you so much, Arthur. We could commit to getting it out on Tuesday, but you as the agent who is listing, you need to make sure you get that information over to the front desk. Can we count on you to do that? Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. So how else are you getting listings? Let's dig deeper. What else can we be doing to get listings?
I am loving all my past clients. I just delivered a whole bunch of pumpkins yesterday, and we're planning another holiday thing and looking into next year. It's just getting in front of the people who hopefully know and love me already.
I love that. And I just saw over the weekend there was an enormous amount of KW activity going on if you take a look at all the social media. So I loved how you guys are doing it together too, which is wonderful to see.
Well,
And yeah, you loving up on the database. Go ahead.
I'd like to propose, I remember years ago, because, you know, let's face it, you guys, I think we all realize that our market is changing. So, you know, the monies that we have to really be careful with where we're spending our money. And I think that coming together as a team, you know, I did a Halloween thing, and then Lisa did a Halloween thing. And, you know, I remember when I first, when we were at Tracy, we did a client appreciation and we all stepped in, and it was like a big party. And I don't think there's any reason, it's not going to take away from them knowing, you know, who's doing it. They have the relationship with their relationship is with their realtor. So I think that, especially for the newer agents and stuff, why don't we brainstorm? Maybe we can have a committee and do these things even on a monthly basis, you know, where we are inviting our clients, you know, they're, you know, and it's getting in front of them. Even if they don't show up, they're getting those invites. And there's so many things that we can do on such a cheaper scale and still getting the same traction. So that's what I'm proposing. If anybody's interested, we could spearhead the committee and let me know, and we could come up with some plans that we can all share in that together.
And we could do them at all 5 offices and have all of the agents involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that way
love it.
we're not reinventing the wheel over and over again.
Why don't you guys put your emails in the chat box, right? And then they can get a hold of you. I think it's an amazing idea, especially coming together like that. It's gonna get rocky, you know. Let's face it. And if we're not, you know, pulling every string to help each other out, you know.
Well, I spent all this money. I had a caricature that I spent $600 for. I mean, like that. If we all put together, it's like, I don't know, $15 each or $20 each, and we all get the same traction, right? So I mean, I'm just saying there's ways that we can do it and still be able to offer all those services for our clients, but at a much cheaper scale.
So yes, hi everyone. So we actually just did that we have been doing it for a couple of years in Modesto, and now we're doing it in Manteca. And this time, you know, the cost was close to $10,000, and none of the agents had to come out of pocket. So yes, you guys should get together with a group of agents that, you know, want to do this, because it can be very useful for everyone, and it doesn't have to cost you anything.
Thank you so much, Laura. You guys, hey, Janet Anderson just put her email in there. So in the chat box, you guys need to email her. Okay, don't put your email in there if you're interested. Email Janet, because if not, it's just not gonna happen.
And
so,
Laura, I want to know how it's not going to cost us. We need to talk about that. Email me.
Well, don't we have to be careful
Yes,
when we're talking to our affiliates regarding sponsorships, Michele? Wasn't that an issue a few years back? Everybody was just pounding on some of our major affiliates, and they kind of pushed back.
well, that can happen, but it does, you know, obviously, it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to make sure, because we had to go through you or the office ATL to ask permission before. So you're okay with that now?
I don't remember that with.
Well, and we all have our own, I think we all have our own relationships with our own, you know, lenders, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I don't think it hurts.
It's not as if we're having them come in and do a class during a team meeting. You know what I mean? This is completely different because it's for you. It's, you know, we all, it's not like here at KW, I say you've got to use this lender, right? We have to use certain lenders because they're associates of ours, right? And that's why when it comes to team meetings or like our Christmas party or the day at the lake and so forth, because they're
And then
paying our, go ahead.
we've been doing it for so long that usually it's the same sponsor, so they know that we have a fall event every year, and they're actually really excited to be a part of it because they see the photos, they see how great everybody has a great time. And then also just being mindful, do it in a group. So then, they're sponsoring not just one agent. When they sponsor, they're putting their sponsorship on a group of people. And that's why it would be a good idea, for larger groups of agents to gather together and do it. So then the sponsor feels like, okay, I'm covering a blanket, right? It's not just one person here, one person here, one person here.
And thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate it. Somebody's asking about a PowerPoint. I have some of them, so if you want to email me, I can probably get them to you. Okay, what else, you guys? What else are you doing differently to love up on your database, your data bank, right? And to get more traction in your listings? What are you doing differently? Why are they choosing you to list with you? Anybody?
I would just say for me, I just now realize that I've been very fortunate that I have my sphere, but I know that I need to go back to basics because if I don't, the work is going to not keep showing up. So for me, it's going back to loving on our clients, making those calls. I mean, we've all learned this from Bold and everything else. And it's just, the relationships and calling and educating and come, from that place, and then the business will come.
I'm kind of dealing with the same thing. I'm very lucky to have my sphere, and that's where my 3 escrows right now have all come from. But same thing like Janet said, I'm going back to the basics. I'm doing a lot more open houses than I was. Obviously, when we were in COVID, you didn't need to do it because everything was selling within,
So lucky.
But I'm doing that a lot more. Touching, doing my touches, calling all the time. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's awesome.
You got to love on your spear for sure. You got to love on your spear.
Yep.
Because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to, just so you know. Somebody else will do it. So also, you guys, in Bold, Hector out of the Modesto office, he got 90 leads off a command. 90 leads for $30 off a command. Is anybody doing their command leads?
Yes,
Anybody?
I am.
Okay, good. I don't know who said that, but
It's me.
awesome. Kyle, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So it's a numbers game, just like any other lead source. But I highly encourage you. We are it's not that expensive compared to getting Zillow or paying Op City 30%, right? You don't have to pay any referral fee off a command. So I encourage you, and everybody has pretty much said you could do an ad on their listing here at KW. So just make sure you put that in there. Does somebody have a question? I thought I just heard something. Anybody? We can buy leads from command. Kelly, get together with Arthur, and Arthur can show you. There's Arthur, can you hear me? Can you email Kelly some videos regarding commands and Facebook leads, please?
Kelly, oh, there it is, Kelly Siegel. Got it.
Please. That'd be great. Yeah, so you can post ads on social media, which now includes Instagram, from command. And so the 90 leads that Hector just got only cost them $30. However, also Fresno, they got it, I don't know, it was like 100 and something. There was like a little bit of a competition going on. It's just the way you do the ad. Okay. What else is going on, you guys? What other obstacles are you having? What, anybody have any other obstacles that's happening?
I'll chime in that I know we're talking about listings, but buyers too. And so what I did was I went back to the people that bought homes during COVID, and a lot of them, you know, it was crazy during that time, right? So a lot of them compromised on their homes. A lot of them bought homes and they relocated here because they were able to work remote, and now they cannot work remote and they have to go back. So I've picked up 2 buyers just in the past week because he compromised on a home and he wants to get another home, and he's either going to rent it out or sell that one, but it was the both same scenario. So, you know, I suggest revisiting those people that during COVID, because we know that a lot of people overpaid and a lot of people compromise. And, you know, there's always going to be life events in people's, you know, lives that real estate is still going to happen. It's just a matter of digging deep to find out, you know, where are you at? Are you happy with that home? And, you know, go and find them maybe some VAs. You know, when Marissa talked about that last week of assumable VAs, I went straight to my VA buyers. It was like, hey, are you happy with the home you bought 2 years ago? Because, you know, don't be scared of the rates. There's options. So that's something that I did, and I picked up, you know, my listing and 2 buyers in 1 week.
I think that is the smartest thing to go back. Yeah, that's so smart. Thank you so much for sharing, Danny. Hey, Arthur, can you share what Hector did on his ad to get him the 80
No,
or
because
90?
I showed him how to do the ads, and then he took it and ran with it himself. I have an appointment with him tomorrow, so I can R&D and see what exactly he did, and then I can share. But as of right
Awesome.
now, I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So Hector is going to actually be interviewed with KWRI. Actually, it's being done today. So he's probably going to share that as well. I totally forgot to do it on my little video that we talked about yesterday. That's on my social media. But he was just so excited about Bold, and he's never been to a class like that. It was just, his whole team was like on fire afterwards. It was the most amazing thing to watch. Anyways, yeah, Arthur can get together and we can rip off and duplicate, right? I love that. So, yeah. Okay, what else is going on out there, you guys?
Michelle,
Okay,
would
hold
this
on.
be oh,
Sorry. With Michelle talking about this, my email's starting to blow up. So I appreciate that, but I'm going to put my Calendly link in the chat, and that's how you can schedule an appointment with me versus everybody sending me an email right now.
And the cool thing about Arthur is that he has classes. So that's going to help too, right? So obviously there's a lot of us. And so do you have a class coming up, Arthur, on the calendar yet?
I do not, but I can easily put one together for each individual office. That way we can collectively come together and do this in a larger group fashion versus.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier for everybody. And then you can feed off of each other too. I think it's, you know, it's like a mastermind in a mastermind. So that would be awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Arthur. You froze, but yeah, thank you. Awesome. But there was another question. Somebody else was starting to talk. Who was that? Danny, was that you?
it was Janet, me,
Janet.
Janet McMahon.
Yes. Go ahead.
Would this be a good time to kind of just throw it out there?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great idea. I forgot about that.
So I think a lot of us might be missing the boat on a great income producing opportunity. And I've posted some posts from Command regarding out of area referrals. Let your sphere know that I might not be able to help you in Nevada or Ohio or Florida, but guess what? I could certainly interview and vet a good realtor that knows the market you're looking to buy in. And I'm getting ready. I've closed 3 of those already just because of social media posts. And I'm getting ready to close a 4th that was,
So 4 deals this year you have, closed because of just posting something on social media that you are worldwide and you can help people move worldwide.
correct. And
That's a no-brainer. I think that takes what, 3 minutes or 5 minutes to post? You guys, come on.
then I also make sure in all my networking groups that they know that I could help anyone they know that's out of state as well. And although I haven't received a referral for a transaction from my networking group, I now have 2 in my downline in Indiana.
And that's another passive income.
Right.
That's another, gosh, how easy is that? That's awesome.
I saw Janet posting those as well, and I started doing it for the same reason, because it's a
Yeah,
great
rip off and duplicate. That's what we do here. I love it. No, R&D, right?
The other thing too is when you do have that hey, I need help in North Carolina thing, there's resources, whether it's on social media, going to your KW referral groups, and reaching out to them and interviewing them, or a real simple way is going onto Command and using the map, zooming in on that map where the city they want to move to, and looking at everyone's bios, which if you don't have your bio done, you're missing the boat. So, looking at everyone's bios on Command and seeing how many transactions they listed and sold and how many buyers they've helped in that area. And then you know who the specialist is, right?
That is definitely right. Oh my gosh. So we should have a class. Go ahead.
I was going to say, does everyone know how to use that map?
I bet you not. That's not something we go over during orientation, I'll tell you that. But I know like Zach does. Hey, and then also you guys, Zach does classes every other Monday and every other Wednesday, and it's on our calendar. Zach is the regional technology person. Get on those calls. I'm texting Hector right now, trying to see if I can get him on.
I was going to share another suggestion is I'm really grateful that the pie event is coming back, because I got to see so many of my past clients last year who came in to get pies. And although KW makes it so easy for us where we just send out a certificate and they bring it in and whoever's at the desk gives them a pie and they leave. But what I did last year is I set up certain times when they could come, or I had them call me for an appointment to get their pie. That way I got FaceTime with each and every one of them for just, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long they wanted to hang out. But it gave me an opportunity to update them on the market, ask them who they knew who wants to buy or sell. And so it was so much better for them to see me and talk to me versus just getting my name and a certificate they brought in for a pie, which I know they appreciated it, but the conversation goes so much farther.
That was another smart thing. Thank you so much, Lisa. That's amazing. Yeah, so they're not just walking in when you're not there. And the whole idea is to be able to talk with them. So
Okay,
yeah.
the other thing I did is you can get Staples from Staples stickers. We printed the stickers with our label and branding, and I put it on each pie that I gave them so that they pick at home, and maybe their uncle or aunt or their neighbors helping them in the kitchen, they saw who gave them the pie.
Did you guys hear that? That was smart. That was so smart. I appreciate that.
We do that as well. I do it in Lodi, and I'm here from like say 12 to 6, and I make sure that I'm here and the clients come in, and I do the same thing that Lisa does. I just get the stickers and I put them on there. If you do, say for instance, if you do Costco pies, for instance, you can order them without the label on them. You got to put the order in advance, and then you just pick them up the day of, the morning of. Before it got really large, I used to even tie a bow, and people loved it. I mean, they would send me pictures of them going to their parents' house because I do a big bow on it, and then the label, the sticker, and it just worked out really good. Now there's too many, so I don't do the bows, but I still do the stickers.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Hey, Hector, show your face. Where are you? Hector just jumped on. There he is. Thank you, Hector. So 90 leads on command. That's like I don't know, you get an award, my friend. Tell us, how did you do that? What was so different about your ad?
Whenever I run ads, I pick two different property types that I'm gonna target. It's either gonna be something that's an acre or more, or something that's entry level. Entry level just because it gets, it's cheap. People want cheap, something that's cheap and move-in ready. So low end flips. I like to use those. In this particular one, I have a agent, Diego Castillo, that I work with. He does flips. He did one in Delhi, where it's 2 homes on 1 lot. And that happens to be a really popular one. So anytime you got 2 homes on 1 lot, or any property that's like an acre or more, you're bound to get good hits from that. You're going to get lead gen from those. So I got Diego's listing in Delhi. I asked him for permission to run an ad. He said, go for it. And it was pretty simple. All I did was I took the default description that he had. I left it. I didn't change it. All I did in the subject line, just 2 homes on 1 lot and a 1/4 acre. That's it.
I love it.
And I know that's going to get people to click. So that's what I do. I kind of go back and forth. I like doing properties that got 2 homes on 1 lot or an acre. We tend to get listings out of those too. It tends to be somebody upgrading. So that's where I get some of my listings, is people looking to upgrade.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Okay, so we got to all start using commands. Arthur, you wanted to chime in? Is that what I saw?
Yes. So it's a lot of the ads that I see when people or agents are placing the ads, they're I forget the whole saying, but they're giving away the entire cow at the beginning. So what is the point of anybody clicking through? You should not be putting price point, square footage, any of that information in the front of the ad, because then there's no reason for them to click through and give you their information. The whole point of running an ad is a teaser. So you're teasing them with what they can potentially get, what they can potentially see, so that they click through and give you their information. If you put any of the other pertinent information, there's no point in you wasting your money.
Yeah.
Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Is that the one that you're talking about?
That one. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Somebody just, thank you so much, Arthur. Somebody just texted me about what is the pie thing that we're doing. Ashley, are you on? I thought I saw you. Ashley? Ashley B. Okay, she's not on. So basically, does anybody want to explain it?
So I can. So they
Okay.
deliver a freezer to each office in the beginning of November. I don't know if she has a date just yet. They send out literally a invite that you could just put your own information on, send it out to your clients. All the client needs to do is print it out, bring the certificate back. It has your name on it, because you put your name on it, and whoever's at the desk will exchange the certificate for a pie. At the end of the promotion, which is at the end of December, they tally up how many pies they gave out on your behalf, and you just pay your bill. So you're only paying for the ones that are redeemed. You don't have to try and guess and then overpay. You really just pay for however many coupons got redeemed. And there's apple, berry, and pumpkin. Super easy, and the pies are amazing.
Super easy.
I would recommend not just sending it to, your clients for this last year. Send it to anybody, everybody, because it's a touch and it's a gesture. They may not go in and pick up that pie, but they're like, that's a great gesture. And I only had like 7 pies picked up last year. But I had a lot of people thank me for offering.
That's great. Thank you so much. Hey, Joe, are you on now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. So what questions did you guys have for Joe regarding loans? None, Joe. No, I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, assumable loans is one, right? VA, yeah, assumable. Everybody wants to know assumable.
So assumable, for sure, FHA is probably one of the easiest ones. Of course, the seller does have to contact their current servicer to get that process, and then the buyer does have to qualify. But that's a great one to use. The VA is also assumable, but the problem with VA is it does hold up their ability to reuse that VA loan. So most veterans, unless they're retiring or downsizing or buying their next house cash, a lot of times you're going to want to use their VA eligibility, but not always.
So there's some questions. There's some questions in the chat already. Can you get a release on their VA benefit?
Not if you assume it, or you have somebody assume it.
I have a
Okay.
question.
So you can assume the VA if you're not a veteran.
Correct.
Okay. Talk to me about 2-in-1 rate buy down.
We have 3-2-1 buy downs, and we have 2-1 buy downs. The 3-2-1, a lot of people are a little bit more comfortable with that one because it does, for example, if the rates are 7%, while you start at a 4% for the first year, it is a 30-year fixed. So they're still locked in through 30-year fixed, except they start at 4% for the first year. The next year it goes to 5. The next year it goes to 6. And then by the fourth year, now you're at 7%. The rates are predicted to go down. So we're telling a lot of people right now, we do offer a free refi. So if the rates drop, let's say next year, and you do a 3-2-1 buy down or a 2-1 buy down, you can utilize that credit towards buying the current towards the current refinance to buy down your rate or pay for closing costs. So it's not lost. Of course, the seller has to pay for that portion, or the builder. The buyer cannot pay for a 3-2-1 or a 2-1 buy down.
What is the cost of one, roughly? Somebody's asking me. It's percentage.
Of course. So a one, like for example, the lowest one is a 1-1 buy down. So if it's 1% of the loan amount. If it's a 2-1 buy down, that's 2 years, right? Then it's 2% of the loan amount. If it's a 3-1, then it's 3% of the loan amount.
Got it. Thank you so much.
I have a question regarding the regarding assumables.
Yeah.
And what my question is, okay, so we know FHA and VA are both assumable. However, what is the structure of for the buyer? Because obviously there's a loan in place. There's going to be a sale price higher than that loan. Buyers are typically coming in with 3.5% or 5%. So now what is the structure when we're assuming a loan?
So of course they have to qualify for that loan they're assuming. Second, they would have to either come up with a difference, or they can get a second loan for the difference, as long as it meets within the VA guidelines up to 100% finance, or if it's FHA up to 96.5% finance. So you can get a second loan for that.
Okay, so they would just have to qualify for the existing loan in place. That would remain as the first, and then they would get an equity line or a second for the difference, but then they would still be responsible for their 3.5% down or whatever the program required.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thanks. That answers the question.
Of course.
I have
Can I ask?
quick question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I don't know if this is possible, but the problem that we're experiencing, or I'm experiencing, is, some people want to sell, but they don't want to buy at a much higher rate. Any chance that these loans that they had could go with them?
That would be great. And that's a great question. But no, unfortunately, only the buyer can assume them. I think that we definitely have to go over like a lot of leads that I'm getting right now for people that are selling and buying a new place is that we really want to focus on like return on investment, what the financial aspects are behind it, why it's a great time to buy right now versus waiting for the rates to go down. We give them a certificate to refinance the rates whenever they do come down. No charges, no origination, no lender origination cost, and kind of give them an estimate based off of that. If payment is really an issue, obviously we're still qualifying people off the 30-year fixed worst case scenario. But you know, in this market or history shows that rates go up and down constantly, right? Right now, because of the economy, inflation, all that stuff, they're going quite high. They have gone better this week. They're predicted to possibly go into the 8s. You know, sometimes some are predicting the 10s. So it does create more of a challenge, but affordability is always the key point, right? Affordability and the return on investment. And, you know, utilizing the 3-2-1 of like, well, no, I really need my payment to stay at X. The 3-2-1 or the 2-1 are really good. You can also do a permanent buy down, you know, which brings down, some people opt out for that if they're getting 3 points or 6 points or 9 points, depending on the down payment amount from the seller, to get their rates back into the 4s and 5s. So.
Are any of the lenders talking about going to a 40-year?
There is a current 40-year IO right now for jumbo that just, well, came out a couple months ago. The agencies are talking about it, but they haven't really released it. The last time we had similar issues, they talked about it, but they never released it. There is, you know, we don't foresee this problem lasting too long. You know, we do see that applications for second homes and investment homes are up 152%. And I think that's because some of those people realize the ROI and the opportunity in the market now versus, you know, 6 months ago when you were paying $50,000 to $100,000 and, you know, multiple offers on properties, right? But I don't, it's possible, but I don't see that happening for the agency loans.
So if you look at it, you know, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So you were just talking about opportunities. There are some really great opportunities out there for the investor, for the person who wants to buy that second home, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, as somebody that's downsizing, or somebody that is, you know, so you gotta know the financial reason and show it to them, and then understand their why, right? What, you know, why their emotions is what's going to drive them past the fear, right? Because you can show them the numbers, you know, hey, this is the data, you know, don't believe what the news is saying. Like I was talking to a guy who were qualifying, and they're like, well, the economy's crashing, I might lose my job. And he's moving from the Bay Area to here. I'm like, well, let's talk about that. It's, you know, you're paying higher taxes, higher payment. If you're moving out here, your payment's going to be cheaper. So you're going to be better off if something does happen with your job, right? But the reality is we have, you know, 1.7 jobs per person right now. So it's reality. We still have a lot of jobs in the market. So, I think you just got to know the data and help them through it. So.
Just asking great questions, most definitely. So there's some more questions here in the chat. So is there a benefit one over the other of the different buy downs? I'm gonna let you answer.
So the 3-2-1 for sure. I mean, it's a longer period, right? It's like 4 years before they have to pay that higher payment. And that's what I would say. And the seller pays it, just asking for 3% versus the 2%. So that would be the benefit. That gives people a little bit more of an ease that, hey, you know, more than likely things will change. However, you still have, you know, 4 years before you have to make that payment.
Is there a penalty to pay it off earlier?
No, there's not a penalty. Contrary, whatever you don't use, like for example, if you refinance a year from now and you pay 3 points, well, you have that 2 points to use towards your refinance to buy down the rate even more.
Got it. What is someone just asked, what is the estimate cost of the 3% of the seller for the seller?
So it all depends on the loan amount. Typically when we write the contract, you know, we always recommend to write 3% of the purchase price, and, you know, let the sellers know that they're utilizing that to do a 3-2-1 buy down or 2-1 buy down, because they do have to specify for it. But if the borrower's putting 20% down, you know, and their loan amount is $400,000, you know, 3% would be $12,000. So it's actually the loan amount, not the purchase price, but we can use the excess of that amount that we're not using for the 3-2-1 or the 2-1 to help with their closing costs as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, more questions here. So hang tight. Now they're really coming in. Is there a benefit to the 2-1 over a permanent buy down?
So the difference is of course, less of a risk, right? Because the 2-1 or the 3-1, it's temporary, right? And although statistically more than likely rates are going to drop, however, that's never guaranteed. The recession that we're projected to go into may last, I don't know, 4 years, may even get worse, right? Because we're in the middle of it. We're not actually like really in it. So doing the permanent buy down, just says, okay, if you're comfortable with this payment with a permanent buy down, well, you don't have to worry about refinances. If rates do drop, you refinance, but you do have that lower rate. The difference, of course, now, let's say the rates do change next year, that 3% that you use to buy down the rate, you're not going to be able to utilize that again, right? Versus the 3-1 buy down, you can utilize that amount towards, your next refinance.
That's great. Thank you so much. Anybody have any questions regarding loans? This was really good information. I'm glad you guys are all on.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Quick question. So it's important, I think, to remember how much a property needs to appraise for them to even be able to refinance. So Joe, you had mentioned one time there's a percentage that you can refi up to. What is that again? And for this particular program? So
they're typically, for your traditional programs, you're at 96.5 or 97% conventional, depending on the program. It was investment, obviously the 20%, but there is a HARP loan that came out during the last recession, the housing crisis, that basically when you're underwater, I believe it went to 150%. So if you're underwater at 150%, you can still refinance and take advantage of the lower rates.
Do you see that coming back? Is that something that's not available yet?
It's available. It's just
okay.
not really used because there's not a lot of people that still need that program, but it's
it.
still there because obviously it happens. Like people that bought in the pandemic right now, especially last year, probably don't have all the equity that they have now. So if rates dropped, they would be able to take advantage of it.
Right. And then just being aware, like whoever gets the 2-1 buy down, if the market continues to drop in values, they're likely going to have to go into that program. Can they still use that credit towards that refi in that program? Okay.
Great question. Yes, of course. Yeah, you can use it. So.
I have a question too, when it comes to, with loans, when you're looking at the whole package, it also includes property taxes. So when you're talking about people who are downsizing, when try to make the whole package a little bit more favorable, if they're downsizing, possibly they have a lower tax rate to bring with them. So how do you kind of factor that in, look at that and consider that when you're a lender at a house maybe that they're considering buying? And how can we as agents kind of help with that?
That's a great question. And for some people, it just depends on where they're moving from. Like, for example, a lot of people that move from the Bay Area usually have higher tax rates. And over there, they assess the properties a lot more often than they do here in the Valley. So for a lot of them, their taxes actually went up. For those like here in the Valley where they don't really assess the properties too much, don't give a lot of increases. If they're senior citizens, they can transfer their tax payment to their next home. So we do take a look at that. But obviously, we do factor that in. And when we're talking to agents, we always say, hey, let us know what property you're going to show them or you're going to write an offer on. So we can actually take a look at the taxes, see what the actual tax rate is. And before they write the offer, we give them an exact payment based, of course, on that day's rate, because the rates can change, the following day or the following weekend. But at least they know their taxes based on before they make that offer. So.
Okay, that includes people with disabilities and people that have also been burned out of their homes. And I don't know how much of that is, but we've got to consider all that.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
also
they just
true.
have to be 55, really.
Right, every time, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, perfect. You guys, was this beneficial for you? Yeah, I can't hear you. Yes, good. I can see it.
Very much.
Good. We do have a couple different announcements. Desiree, are you available? I don't know. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Hold on one sec. Okay. Hi, everyone. So today the email went out for our annual crab feed that we do every, well, we haven't done it since 2020, right before the pandemic. So please, tickets go fast. Individual tickets are selling for $75 a piece, or a table of 8 for $620. With that, you get 25 raffle tickets, and obviously you can decorate your table, swag it up, whatever you want, but it also secures a spot for you. Like I said, they do go fast. I anticipate we'll probably be sold out within a month. That's typically how long it takes to they just go real quick. It's a fun event. We have a DJ, we have dancing, we have great raffle prizes. Everyone's looking forward to it. I just posted it, and I think we already sold a table and a couple of tickets, and they're not even agents. So, yep, take a look at it. If you need the link, I can also, I'm going to be posting it actually later today as well, but I know I did see the email come through.
A question for you, Desiree, because I was going to go in and buy a table. The Eventbrite charges $40 service fee on it. Can we pay you directly? I'd rather pay $40 to Red Day than to Eventbrite.
I don't, let me ask, because the thing is I don't know if the MCA is going to be able to keep track. The whole point was it would just went rampant last time. And so that's why we did the Eventbrite, because everybody's like, okay, well, how many tables do we have left? Tell me, all these types of things. And that's what we used the last time, was the Eventbrite site. So I don't necessarily know that they're going to be open to doing 2 separate forms of payment.
Yeah, but we'll ask, obviously you're right. We'd rather see that money go to Red Day. Totally. But you
Why is
guys,
it such a high fee?
it's Eventbrite. Who knows? But the thing is, you guys, you need to understand, it's just like the Christmas party. We can't make chairs appear. Once it's sold out, it is sold out. And that goes with the Christmas party too, you guys. We just put out the invite, a few weeks ago. People are buying them left and right. So make sure you get your tickets.
Yeah, and the thing with this is it's crab and tri-tip. So
it's Eli's
both.
tri-tip.
And that's what people like about this, I think, because it's not just crab. We have delicious tri-tip. And for those of you that know Eli, he's actually going to be coming back and helping us this year with the tri-tip. So
yeah, it's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys. And then the ALC will be donating the raffle prizes too. So, and a lot of lenders do as well, and the different affiliates. So that's exciting. So be ready if this is what you want to go to. So, all right, you guys, again, so this was a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. This is what you guys want to keep doing, and this is helping you. And it's the more we chat about it, the more we're going to get through this together. I pray to God you guys are all going to the shift, though, the shift class that's coming up. Anybody want to speak towards that? The speaker himself is amazing. So is anybody on the Facebook group, The Shift? Pivot? Yeah. So tell me about it. So there's a lot of people on here who probably don't even know about it. Danny, I see you shaking your head. Yes. There's a lot of people who get up early to go on that and listen to that. So yeah, you guys make sure you are there. We actually bought down the tickets from $90 to $50, so it's a little bit more affordable for everybody, because it's important that you go. You need to go to the shift class. I am telling you, this is not coming back around. It's the first time in 11 years, 11, 12 years, whatever it is, since I've been doing this, that we've actually had this class. So make sure you go. I'm just saying. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you.
Can I make a quick announcement? Just another friendly reminder that the 8th annual Keller Williams Holiday Boutique is on Thursday, November 10th in the Tracy office. It's from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And right now we have 23 vendors to shop from. So don't forget, you could start your Christmas shopping there, and we'll have lots of raffle prizes. And this year, the funds raised will be going to the Tracy Firefighter Charity.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Janet. I
hope to see you there shopping.
There you go. Thank you so much for putting this together. We appreciate it. All right, you guys, be the best version of you that you can be, and back to basics and double down. I'm telling you, double down. All right, you guys, enjoy. And thank you for everybody for showing up.
Thank you, everybody.